Welcome to the Sessions Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame and Museum. It's my pleasure to be here, and we encourage your family, your friends, your colleagues to come and visit. I've always said that life is a lot like tennis. You can't win without serving. When you come here, you'll see the many players that have served their way into the Hall of Fame and to many championships. You'll also find the people that have served tennis, be they employees of the tennis organizations, community leaders, or whatever. You'll find these people have had a great impact on tennis in Georgia. In fact, Georgia now is probably one of the largest, if not the largest, hotbed of tennis in the entire country. We've got junior players, collegiate players, high school players, senior players, all types of leagues. Alta is the largest in the country, USTA leagues. We've got everything in Georgia, and we encapsulate all of it here at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame and Museum.
As you enter the museum, your eyes get drawn to two famous Georgia iconic shots. The first being Gordon Smith of Rome, a longtime CEO of the United States Tennis Association, here seen pictured with Billie Jean King and New York City Mayor David Dinkins. Also, one of the great venues in college tennis or tennis in general is the Henry Field Stadium at the University of Georgia, where so many legendary NCAA championships have been played. You also see the donors that made the building of the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame and Museum a reality, and we thank them so much for their generosity. The first digital exhibit here at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame shows all the past award winners of USTA Georgia, the Georgia Tennis Foundation, and the Atlanta Lawn Tennis Association, affectionately also known as ALTA.
Hi, I'm Shaquetta Allen, 2024 ALTA President, here at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame, in front of our display case, highlighting our contributions to Georgia tennis. ALTA has had a long tradition in Georgia, dating back to 1934. Throughout its 90-year history, ALTA has taken great pride in providing recreational tennis for the people of Atlanta. In our display, you'll find multiple city champion plates. This is our signature award for league champions. You will also find several bag tags, another symbol of league success in Atlanta. Finally, you'll see copies of our branded publication, Net News, a magazine showcasing ALTA's success. When visiting the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame, I hope you will come by and check out the ALTA display.
We're now at the Coach Dan McGill Georgia Tennis Wall of Fame. Here we honor the inductees into the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame, and you can access their biographies with one simple click.
Hello, I'm Richard Howell, and I'm going to talk today about the display case showing the great junior players we've had in the state of Georgia. First, I'd like to talk about Al Parker, who's clearly the greatest junior, not only in Georgia, but probably in the United States, having won 25 national championships as a junior player. Al was from Claxton, Georgia, and in this case, you'll find players from all over the state, including juniors like Danny Birchmore from Athens and Ham McGill from Athens, who both had terrific junior records. Two other players I'd like to talk about briefly are Horace Reed, who was the first outstanding young African-American player in Georgia, who went on to play at UCLA, and Ned Neely, who was the first national champion from Atlanta, having won the 15 and under in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We've also had many great female junior players, including, to name a few, Shannon McCarthy-Gaudette, Wendy White, Prosser, and Lisa Spain-Short. The display case is emblematic of the great junior players we've had in the state of Georgia.
Now we've reached my personal favorite spot here in the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame, the Howell Family Georgia Tennis Historical Timeline. Here we go back in Georgia tennis history from all the way when Bitsy Grant in the 1930s stormed on the Georgia tennis scene, through present day, through great players like John Isner and the 96 Olympic Games hosted here in Atlanta, to present day Georgia legends like Melanie Udan, Coco Gauff, and of course the late great John Calton.
I'm Jerry Baskin. I'm clearly delighted to be here introducing the legendary coaches of the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame. In this case, you'll find Branch Currington, the first great black coach in Georgia. His efforts made tennis cool in the black community. Georgia is well known throughout the United States for its top-level coaches and instructors, both at the grassroots, collegiate, and professional levels. In this case, you'll find Ruth Lay, who was a mentor of mine, the first great female coach in Atlanta. The state of Georgia has been blessed by having two of the greatest collegiate coaching tandems in the history of the United States. Manny Diaz and Jeff Wallace at the University of Georgia, and Kenny Thorne and Brian Shelton at Georgia Tech. You will also find Dan McGill, who developed the legendary program at University of Georgia on both the men's and women's side. And finally, you'll find the shoes made for me by Adidas, honoring my United States Tennis Association Legends of Coaching Award. This case is synonymous with the great coaches that the state of Georgia has had.
Hi, I'm Wendy White. I'm here at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame in front of the collegiate display. College tennis in Georgia has a long tradition of excellence. From all of our national team titles at every level to all of our individual national champions, we've been well represented across the college landscape. Here we have Lisa Spain-Short, the 1984 NCAA singles champion from the University of Georgia. You'll also find legendary players who continue to make an impact on today's game, like Georgia Tech standouts Kenny Thorne and Brian Shelton. We've also had collegiate players go on to have great success at the professional level, such as French Open finalist Michael Purforce from the University of Georgia. You'll find all these players and so much more at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame.
We've reached the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame Theater, named after the Rome community tennis legend Bernard Neal. Here we have the 76 inductees to the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame and their video stories. Happy watching.
I'm Randy Stevens, and I'm here at the Service Contributors display at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame. Here you'll find many of the great volunteers that have helped scope Georgia tennis. One example would be Ruth Lay, who was one of the early pioneers in teaching female tennis players, not only at the Georgia level, but all the way at the international level. And so many female players in Georgia give Ruth credit for their development. The highest volunteer honor we have in our state is named after Ruth Lay. It's called the Ruth Reiner Lay Award. And of course, you'll find John Callan in the case, who is a person that got many of us in this display volunteering in tennis with the USTA. He was not only an outstanding player, but an outstanding volunteer and rose to the ranks of being the executive director of USTA Southern for over 30 years. Another example is Gordon Smith, who grew up as an outstanding junior player in Rome, Georgia, and went on to play at the University of Georgia, where he was an outstanding player, and continued to volunteer as a board member of USTA Southern, and then went on to become the executive director of the United States Tennis Association. This is just one of the many displays here at the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame. You can see the players, the history of the game. It all takes place here, and I hope you'll take an opportunity to stop by and see the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame.